Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back again to another edition of Black Thoughts and Reflection. I am Akoti Tamor. And if you were tuned in to our Sunday rap session, I want to thank you again for sticking with us. This topic today is entitled A Nation Within a Nation. We have choices and decisions to make. As you know, we are, as citizens of the United States of America, on the cusp of engaging in a war with Israel, as Israel is our ally. I like to say is their ally because I've mentally been defected from the American society. I consider myself as being set apart. And I'm always on the search for uniting with my people under the mission of self-determination. Now, I first learned about self-determination in 2021 from a Miss Elena Porter. And I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Ramzu Yunus at that time. And since then, I've engaged in numerous hours of research to understand how exercising the right to self-determination can advance our people to be self-governed with our own economy, our own educational system, our own medical system, and our own way of being, our own self-culture. And so on that quest to understand what exactly is a right to nation, I was introduced to another group of like-minded individuals that was on that same quest. In addition to the right to self-determination, they're also fighting for reparations for people who were enslaved here in America and around the world. So thus this live. Now, I know that some of you may know of, in fact, they have a Grandmaster Jay was attempting to build a nation, and we all know that he had plans to do a two-way formation of at least 2 million or 1 million people in April of 2021. But of course, the powers that be took him away under bogus charges, and he's now locked up in federal prison. And that thwarted that effort to have that formation. Now, people may ask, now, why is that formation important? The formation is supposed to be a declaration to the United States as well as to United Nations that the people that are gathered, 2 million strong, 1 million strong, do not want to be governed by the United States of America. They want the right to self-determine their future and the future of their children. Now, I know for a fact that to make such a claim or such a declaration takes the will and the consent of 1 million people. Now, we have that. We have that here in America. But because we have so many different factions or so many different organizations, we cannot get a clear count as to how many of us feel that way. But everyone that I engage in and everybody that I talk to wants to be free from this oppressive system and want the right to receive reparations for the atrocities that was committed against our ancestors. And with that reparations, we want the right to self-determine how we'll use those funds or lands or opportunities for us as a nation Thus, a nation within a nation. We are a nation of people that are supposed to be set apart from those other nations. And it is your human right to exercise that. So it is my wish and my thought tonight to expose those organizations that have been long established, but just lack the support of other like-minded people, other like-minded people. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into an article that I shared earlier this week as breaking news for the fight for reparations. And we are making progress. We are making progress because, why do I say that? 25 reparation leaders came together in October and decided that they were going to work together, a combined effort to help us obtain reparations. And one of those organizations that basically hosted the National Reparations Conference was the Afro-Descendant Nation. So that's saying a lot. Afro-Descendant Nation. Now, I first encountered this group, like I said, in 2021. And I said on several Zoom calls where they were expressing the need to organize and how they were going to organize to put the message out to other like-minded individuals about their right to self-determination and the quest to obtain reparations. As you can see on the screen, well, let me put it on the screen. Oh, okay, here we go. As you can see on the screen, Afro-Descendant Nation, freedom, justice, and equality. And forgive me, everybody that's joining me tonight, thank you so much. I appreciate your support, and I pray that you gain some knowledge and some helpful information from this podcast, right? So I just wanted to share with you what I've learned and show you where you can go to do your own research and decide. Because like I said earlier today, it's going to take all of us coming together in all of these different organizations to make one nation. And then with that, we have to accept or all agree on how we're going to be governed. So with the Afro-Descendant Nation, they have a governing structure already in place, president, delegates. Let's just go ahead and read what they say here on their website. And this is at Afro-Descendant.org, Afro-Descendant.org. Freedom, justice, and equality. Our mission is to unify Afro-descendants around the issue of self-determination, human rights, and reparations for the development of a nation with peace and liberty through fair, equitable, and just laws. So let's go ahead and read about them. What is Afro-descendant? I learned from several forums in the United Nations that a large contingency of our people, mainly Latin Americans, from slavery diaspora. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me. Just 1 second here. Great, everything's good. Okay, so let's go back. What is Afro-descendant? I learned from several forums in the United Nations that a large contingency of our people, mainly Latin Americans from the slavery diaspora, were calling themselves Afro-descendant. As early as 2000 in Santiago, Chile, the term was first heard at the United Nations Forum, and that's from Silas Muhammad. I believe he's the president of the Afro-Descendant Nation. So it says here, working definition of Afro-descendant. The term Afro-descendants refer to descendants of peoples who were fully dispossessed of their homeland, Africa, were transported to Americas in slavery diaspora for the purposes of enslavement, were subjected to slavery, were subjected to forced mixed breeding and rape, have experienced through force the loss of mother tongue, culture, and religion in or have experienced racial discrimination due to lost ties or partially lost ties from their original identity. Afro descendants are experiencing ethnogenesis, the reestablishment of the mind or the resurrection of a people who have lost the identity of self due to 400 years of slavery. Now, I just want to go ahead before we go further and say that individuals who identify as foundational Americans or aboriginals, right? They are of the belief that they were indigenous to these lands, what I've come to know as Turtle Island, we recognize today as North America. Well, those individuals firmly believe that they are not descendants from Africans. They did not come over here as a result of what the Europeans have deemed to be the North Atlantic slave trade. And I respect that. But what I want my foundational Black Americans and my Aboriginal brothers and sisters to understand that, number one, all of us did not originate here on Turtle Island. Some of us were brought here during the war that they have deemed to be a slave trade. And thus, I want to say that if the Afro-descendant nation manages to secure enough votes to declare that they remove consent to being governed by the United States, will our foundational Black American brothers and sisters join us, even though the title will be Afro-descendant nation? Are we going to get pushback from foundational Black Americans? Are we going to get pushback from Aboriginals? Therein lies a divide that may prevent us from gaining the numbers that we need to get to that point where we can tell and declare to the United Nations that we have enough votes to remove consent and demand reparations. That's how serious this is. That's the process. We need the numbers. We can no longer remain divided. And I'm not saying that Afro-descendant nation is the one that you should declare yourself or attach yourself to. Like I said, we have choices now. We didn't know that before. But I'm bringing you this information so you can make a decision. This is a particular nation already declared and recognized by the UN that they are. They just need to show the numbers for consent, right? So it says here's the blueprint for Afro-descendants. The peoples and governments of the world are well aware of the duplicity of the United States government as it calls for human rights and democracy while continuing to this day systematic discrimination against and disenfranchisement of its Afro-descendant population, the inheritors of the legacy of plantation, the so-called African Americans. While we recognize that moral leadership is the tone that the United States government wishes to convey to the world. It has failed to take the key moral action that would begin to repair the ongoing wrong that has existed since the very inception of this government. Does anyone recognize the significance of this key to peace? And that again is from Brother Muhammad. Why reparations? I'm sure of you, I know some of you know why we need reparations and why we should receive and why we should see that we're entitled to reparations. They paid Japan. They're still paying Israel or Israelis or Jewish people. Afghanistanians or whatever, Afghans, Ukrainians, Iranians come to this country and receive some type of reparations, whether it be an opportunity for citizenship and low interest rate to no interest rate loans to establish businesses, by land, by companies, or what have you. They're exercising their right to self-determination to leave their countries and come to this country and benefit from the civil rights movement that was headed by our people off of the bloodshed of our people. So my thing is, if we could give reparations to them and they did nothing to help build this country, then the United States of America, the United Snakes of America should be in a position to, number one, acknowledge that they were wrong with a form of reparations, just like they do other nations. So why reparations? To repair the damage and lingering effects of plantation slavery, to restore us to a state of independence and self-determination, to govern ourselves according to our wishes and desire, to attain true freedom, justice, and equality on some of this earth that we can call our own. Let our people go. I heard a brother today when he was on a podcast, he was saying that I'm about to get off the plantation in a couple of hours and go home to his household where he has a semblance of freedom. When he said plantation, that means his job. Because believe it or not, we're still not free. Because we still are part of this system where some of us have to go to work for another individual, pay taxes on the earnings, file taxes on the earnings, and pray for a return. You're still a slave to the system. It's their system. It's their system. Double taxation, mind you. Double taxation, mind you. Because if you make so much money and you don't have enough expenses that you incur, then you're going to owe the government some more money. That's why they want you to file the taxes. But I'll be damned. And I'm going to tell y'all right now that part of being socialized into this system is that whole Ponzi scheme of taxes. Why do you have to file a return to tell them how much money they took out of your earnings? What's wrong with their accounting? Do they not know? When you get your check stub, Don't it say that a portion of this, depending on what you selected as your dependents or whatever, what is it, W-2s, according to your W-2s, W-4, whatever it is that you fill out when you get the job, to say how many dependents you have or whatever their language is, you're letting them know, and they take taxes out based on that. And then they want you to tell them again how much money you made. What? Isn't that what they pay the IRS revenue agents for? And these big corporations that pay your wages, that's supposed to be reporting your taxes, that's their job to report how much they paid in wages underneath your Social Security number, which is a bond. But I continue. Let me move on, because I can go on and on with that. But our people need to know. So Afro-Descendant Nation, they work on behalf of the Afro-Descendants in the United States. The Honorable Silas Muhammad has presented many interventions, both oral and written, before the United Nations on behalf of Afro-Descendants, descendants of enslaved Africans in the Americas regions, in the slavery diaspora. He also was instrumental in getting the UN to host regional seminars for Afro-Descendants. Some of the most notable were in Santiago, Chile in 2000, La Ceiba, Honduras in 2002, and Chincha, Peru. The Honorable Silas Muhammad's work continues in educating Black Americans concerning how our identity, Afro-Descendant, connects us to the 250 million Afro-Descendants of the Western slavery diaspora. And so I wanted to go back to this tab. What is Afro-Descendant? Read on margins. The term Afro-Descendant. My name is Shabazz Muhammad, CEO of the Lost Foundation of Islam and the spiritual son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him. I have been fighting for my people right to self-determination for many years. I would spend many years out in the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, from 1998 to 2002, working to establish our identity. Having been a member of the Lost Foundation of Islam, I sought to classify us as lost found people and establish that name as collective identity. I learned from several forums in the United Nations that a large contingency of our people, mainly Latin Americans from the slavery diaspora, were calling themselves Afro-Descendant. As early as 2000 in Santiago, Chile, the term was first heard at the United Nations Forum. Now, I want to tell you, I want to tell you, I'm going to let the history and the written documentation tell us. In 2002, at the United Nations Conference for the Rights of Minority in La Ceiba, Honduras, 19 countries from North America, South America, Central America. 19 countries from North America, South America, Central America, and throughout the slavery diaspora gathered. Most Latin American countries had already accepted this global identity, and the Lost Foundation of Islam objected to it. During the conference, a representative from Brazil, who has the largest Afro-descendant population in the slavery diaspora, stated that they too did not agree with the name Afro-descendant, but acquiesced to establishing unity with many descendants of the slavery diaspora that had already accepted and were using the term. That's why I was saying about our family that goes by the foundational Black Americans and the Aboriginals. You got to acquiesce in order to obtain the goal. I almost said something anyways, I didn't say it, so there you go. But I thought it, so Most High forgive me. We have to sometimes be able to put our own self-ambitions aside to do for the greater good. And in the end, I promise you, my people, we'll come out better for it. Do something for someone else kind of attitude, right? Feeling the weight of the term Afro-Descendant in the atmosphere among the Latin American delegates, then we, the Lost Foundation of Islam, decided to concur and use the term like the Brazilians had done. We, Salis Muhammad, Mishaki Muhammad, and the delegates of the Lost Foundation of Islam quickly sketched out a rough definition of Afro-Descendant before having a meeting with the Cuban chairperson and the other Latin American delegates. At the meeting, we shared the definition Afro-Descendant. The term Afro-Descendant refers to the descendants of people who, and I read that already. This is back in 2002. 20 years or 21 years later, some of us are just finding out that that's who we've been termed as and we've been recognized as. Now, many of you know we've been called a lot of things. Until to this day, we are divided on what we should call ourselves. But many of us who know scripture know that we were going to be called all these bywords. I saw a long time ago a flyer that was posted at a slave post, and I believe in Virginia or South Carolina, and it said, Ebos for sale. Then I seen another one that said, Negroes for sale. Then, of course, you know, the Europeans that enslaved us and knew exactly where the majority of us came from, up and down the Niger River, from Nigeria and those areas all the way up to the Congo. They were called nigger from being on the Niger River. The Europeans pronounced it nigger. And then that's how we became niggers. Then we went from niggers to colored. Then we went from colored to Afro-American. Then we went from Afro-American to being black. Then we went from black to being African American, as we state today, even though some of us has reverted to the word just be black. Can we agree on Afro-Descendant? That is the question. Are you an Afro-Descendant of slavery? Because that who comprises of the Afro-Descendant nation that's already established, an organization that's already established. All right. Defining the term gave power to the name Afro-Descendant. We offer to you African Americans, Black people, a just people, a global identity, Afro-Descendant. Do you self-identify as Afro-Descendant? For the sake of unity, for the sake of bringing a nation of people that have been oppressed and hated by all nations, for that recognition, for the repayment of the atrocities and the systematic racism and prejudice that our people have been through, yes, I will self-identify as Afro-Descendant. After all, I've checked several applications where at one time they had, check here if you're Black. Check here if you're African American. It wasn't until recently that they said that selection is optional. But on some applications, for whatever it is you may be applying for, it's not an option. You have to choose what nation you are. So now we can check the other box. Now, hear me what I'm saying. We can check the other box where it says other, check that box, and then write in Afro-Descendant. That's how you take back your power as a nation of people. So let me just go to the chat right quick and see what we got going on. 18 people watching. Thank you for joining me. I see my brother Nathaniel is commenting. Let me know if you're here. Mr. D.D. Taylor is here. I got Kim Yakuza here. Miss Watchman, thank you so much. Nathaniel Pootie Tang is back, is here. Okay, so Pootie Tang is back. Spiritualizing how amusing is that you're throwing around warnings like a playground monitor. Did someone forget to ask for permission to use their little I'm not quite sure. I can't see what happened prior to that, but I don't know what that's about. Well, we're here talking about the right to self-determination and the Afro-Descendant nation. I would like to see in the chat y'all opinion about the Afro-Descendant nation. That's what we're talking about now. That's the topic of discussion right now. Kim Yakuza says, got you. UN Human Rights Declaration, USA signed up. It's the global gold standard. Educate, respect, rights worldwide, no exceptions, straight up. And I agree with you, my sister. Yes, that's what this is about. If they sign that declaration saying that all human beings have a right to self-determination and establish their own nation, then you damn right we have an opportunity right now to do it. Yes, we do. Detailer says absolutely at Kim Yakuza. The in-fact flag is not important. What's extremely imperative is that we create a board of our people to seek our people's need on every level. Hallelujah. So let's get back to the Afro-Descendant nation, because this group has leadership already in place. This is not a joke. They're operating as a government. We're just not a part of the government. Imagine that. Some of us are still participating in the United States of America elections for president and mayor and things of this nature. And we have a whole government here. They just lacking numbers. They just lacking awareness. So for everybody that's here, please give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, because they may not even know. Salute the Braves Club in the building. Thank you, my brother, for joining us. So you see here, leadership. The Honorable Salis Muhammad, Chief Executive Officer, the Lost Foundation of Islam, right? He's the officer. We have a lead counsel, Harriet Akbar, Esquire. Esquire means she's an attorney. Queen Mishaki Mohammed is the monarch of the Afro-Descendant nation. She studied at the American University of Cairo, Egypt, earned her bachelor's degree from the University of California in Los Angeles, and obtained her Juris Doctorate from the UCLA School of Law. She served formerly as the president of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, president of the Georgia Alliance of African American Attorneys, and was the lead attorney for all reparations and emancipation governmental organization. We're talking about fools here. And this elder sister here is the one I had several conversations with. Dr. Akila Makuram is a professional educator, passionate leader, and an advocate for true freedom, justice, and equality for our people. As president of the Afro-Descendant Nation, her mission to unify and organize the organizations under the umbrella of the Afro-Descendant Nation to achieve self-determination. By background, Dr. Akila holds a doctorate in educational leadership, 2 masters, one in education and one in school leadership, and a bachelor's in chemical engineering. Not talking about some fly-by-night people that are running this organization, this government. Okay, she's the president. Now meet your Senate chair. We got a Senate. They're not talking about the Senate for the United States of America. They talk about the Senate that represent the Afro-Descendant Nation. Understand? So we have here Kataba Khan. He's the Senate chair. Senator Kataba Khan has served in the Senate since 2014. See how long this nation of people have existed and we didn't know? I know I didn't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but I didn't know. Helping to set up solid foundation for the Afro-Descendant Congress to operationally conduct business. By background, Senator Khan is a self-employed financial services representative. He teaches financial literacy and economic strategy. Senator Khan was formerly a U.S. Marine and retired from 38 civil service career afterwards. For 38 years civil service career afterwards. We got a House Speaker, and I may mess up this name, but I'll try. Rukia Mansour serves the Afro-Descendant Congress as Speaker of the House of Representatives. As the presiding officer of the House, she is dedicated to ensuring that the Afro-Descendant people's voices and priorities are heard and addressed through legislation. She is currently pursuing her EJD in business law. By background, Rukia obtained her bachelor's degree in arts in Boston, Massachusetts, and worked as a case manager for the Department of Transitional Assistance, a unit specialist program coordinator for the DHCD, and has a domestic violence relief advocate. And as a domestic violence relief advocate, she is also co-owner of Black Rose Pendant LLC. Now, I've seen that company, Black Rose Pendant LLC, and I'm sure some of you have too. But this is the person that owns it, and she is the House Speaker for the Afro-Descendant Nation. These people are not in the United States Senate, not in the United States House of Representatives, doesn't belong, is not part of the Black Caucus, Congressional Black Caucus. These are people who are operating within their own nation right here, a nation within a nation. Imagine that. Amir Muhammad Esquire, another lawyer. Imagine that. Chief Justice. She earned a bachelor's degree from Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire, and obtained her Juris Doctorate from Syracuse University College of Law. She served and continues to serve as staff attorney in various positions of country and state government in the state of Georgia. She has been affiliated with the Georgia's Association of Black Women Attorneys and the Georgia Alliance of African American Attorneys. Her mission is to ensure justice for the greater good by interpreting laws and declaring their constitutionality as the laws apply to the facts of specific individual case or controversy. Why wouldn't you not want to be a part of this organization when they already have attorneys to help us get dealing with police brutality and wicked law enforcement agents? The government of the Afro-Descendant Nation, the monarch, ecclesiastical principality, the Constitution. They have a legislative branch, an executive branch, and a judicial branch. And you might say, well, dang, that sounds just like the United States of America. Well, who you think they got their Constitution from? This is not new. How do you think empires were run? Like I said, my descendants are from the Tika Empire. Look it up. The Tika Empire. This is what we're talking about when we say that we want to be self-governed. If you remove consent, then where do we go? You say you want the right to self-determination. You don't want to be ran and be put under the foot of the oppressors. But once you declare that you remove your consent, where do you go? We have choices. And the Afro-Descendant Nation is one. To learn more about the Afro-Descendant Nation, explore their website. This is for educational purposes. Do your research. I'm not saying join them today. What I am saying is that don't be ignorant to think that there's nothing else out there but one organization. There are several. Choose one. Because like I say, eventually, all these organizations gonna come together. In that article that I shared earlier this week, it says that they're looking to get 500 different organizations to come together, and that organization just might include the one that you really support. Wink, wink. So they're all coming together. So, but we have to decide, who are you? You want to still be called black? You want to still be called nigger? You want to still be called African American? Who are you? So this is the Afro-Descendant Nation membership application. For those who are interested in learning more about it, you can click this button right here, and they ask you a whole series of questions. Here it is. It's open and available for all to participate. Pages, 1 of 5 pages. Do it lickety split. And let's just look at this question. Are you a natural descendant of ancestors of parents who were forcibly disposed from their homeland? Check for me. Were transferred to the Americas and slavery diaspora for the purposes of enslavement? Check for me. Were subjected to slavery? Check for me. Were subjected to forced mixed breeding and rape? Not quite sure about that one, because I don't have no resemblance of, that other nation's race inside of me. Ethnicity. I think I'm just purebred Afro-descendant from the Tika Empire. No mixed blood. Have experienced through force the loss of mother tongue, culture, and religion? Check for me. And have or experienced racial discrimination due to lost ties or partially lost ties from their original identity? Yes. Because when we were the Tika Empire, I would be known as a princess from the Tika Empire right now, if they hadn't taken my forefathers, my ancestors from the Congo. So yes, I have lost ties to my original identity. We're still searching for who we are, and we just accept what title they put on us. And that's the amazing thing. But then when our people come up with a title such as Afro-Descendant, we shy away from it. We make all these excuses. No, I ain't come from Africa. I'm original to these lands. Okay, but were you enslaved? Because that's one of the questions. Here, check one of these boxes. Were you subject to slavery as an Aboriginal? I guarantee you, yes. That's the point. Pick one. Pick them all. So you see here, they have the newsroom talking about news. Latest update was November 20th, National Reparations Self-Determination Teaching Assembly, reparations leaders across diaspora. That's the one I know that Ramzu Yunus participated in. And we'll talk about Ramzu Yunus in just a second. And you can contact them, get in touch. All of their information is here for you to see, inquire about. They want you to contact them. It's not a secret. Understand that we need the numbers. Then you can also donate. The Afro-Descendant Nation represents 19 different countries in the Western Hemisphere and approximately 250 million slave descendants. For years, we have worked in the international arena to secure recognition and reparations for all Afro-descendants. Together, we can do more than we can do alone. Let's bring our abilities and passions together to affect real change. My fellow Afro-descendants, our nation needs your help. Your financial support is greatly needed to continue the work in international arena regarding the issue of reparations for all Afro-descendants. They are 501c3 nonprofit organization, and all donations are tax deductible. Full transparency here. You decide. I'm just saying, we have choices. If you're going to spend a vote, vote for something that will advance us in getting repaired for the atrocities that this country has done to us. So next, I want to talk about the provisional government of Republic of New Africa. Now, this organization is older than the Afro-Descendant Nation. I talked briefly about this organization when I interviewed Ramzu Yunus. I believe that was back in, when did I go visit with him? Maybe May of this year, maybe June, July, something like that. Anyways, I sat down with a candid conversation with Ramzu Yunus, and we talked about the Republic of New Africa, because as you know, and we'll get to later, Ramzu Yunus established or helped to establish the Republic of the Republic of Detroit, as well as the Republic of Jackson. So let's try to understand how these provisional governments work, right? PGRNA, Provisional Government of Republic of New Africa. The Provisional Government of the Republic of New Africa is the temporary government of the Black nation of North America. It is a pro-independence formation which seeks the total liberation of Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina, the national territories. Now, they have claimed these states to be the territory for the Black nation in North America. So here's the land. So you see how that all goes in hand? Afro-Descendant Nation working with, or can or should be working with, the Republic of New Africa to establish where exactly we gonna settle after we remove consent to be governed. I think that we could fit 250,000 African Americans within these 5 states: Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina. I think we can. How many agree with me on that? I think we could settle down in these states, take over, and it be just us, by us, for us. Would you consider that to be a substantial amount of land as far as reparations? Many people say, oh, it ain't just about the money. It ain't about the money. And we want our land back. Okay, can we take Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina? Would that suffice? Could we settle there? Those of us that live in California, live in New York, live in Chicago, live in Texas, Can we all, live in Ohio, live in St. Louis? Can we all mosey on down to Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina and make a stand and say, we want these lands. This is what we want. Reparations is on the table. So the new African nation is going to hold what is a new African, the goals, aims, destiny, and principles of our people on March 29th through the 31st, 2024 at the embassy. And that's in, I can't really see that. Hold up. Let's see. In Columbus, Georgia. There's the contact information. If you're interested in learning about the goals, the aims, the destiny, and the principles of our people from the new African nation, here's your opportunity. Putting you up on game. Because my people, I'm telling you, I'm going to make it my business to make sure that these two groups, African Descendant Nation, knows about the Republic of New Africa. And you say, why? Because together we are stronger. That's why. If they need numbers and they've been alone this long time and hardly nobody knows about it, then of course that means they must need numbers. And the African Descendant Nation need numbers, then we put them numbers together. I'm sorry, I'm not even sharing the screen. Golly, my bad. Been talking about the new African nation. Here it is, right here. There you go. New African nation. Here we go. Gotta remember to hit the share screen button, right? So March 29th through the 31st, 2024 at the embassy in Columbus, Ohio, the new African, the provisional government. Let me go back. The provisional government of the Republic of New Africa. This is their homepage. Temporary nation. They say contact us anytime, 7 days a week at pg.ministryinformation@gmail.com. pg.ministryinformation@gmail.com. They're not making it hard for you to find them. New African Nation Day. What is New African? The goals, aims, destiny, and principles of our people. They will discuss and let you know what they want to do right here. So how did they get a government? On March 31st, 1968, the provisional government was founded by more than 500 new African leaders in Detroit, Michigan. The nationalist meeting in Detroit tried to speak for all new Africans, Black people. They knew that was really impossible, but the effort was honest. The new African leaders issued a Declaration of Independence. Its major purposes were twofold. One, to inform all new Africans, Black people, that the nation exists and that we are all citizens of it. And two, to free the land. Right now, the trouble is that our land is not free. We are not in charge of it. Europeans are in charge of our land, and they act as if they are in charge of us. Our land and our nation are therefore captive. Our government is a government in captivity. So let's talk about the mission. Our mission. Once we have independence, we will have the power to solve the problems which affect new Africans, Black people daily. Poor education, crime, police brutality, racist attacks, unemployment, and all the other injustices. In our new nation, no person will be discriminated against or held back, and we will make a better life in a better world. Our new African Black nation seeks solidarity with the Native American Indian nation, the Puerto Rican nation, and the Chicano Mexican nation, and all other subjugated nations within the United States which seek land and independence. Any conflicting claims will be resolved in the spirit of justice and equality for all. Let me tell you, my people, that there are dark-skinned Puerto Ricans. Trust me, I know, I lived in Florida. All right. There are Chicano Mexican nation, dark-skinned Chicanos, dark-skinned Mexicans. I know, because I live in Texas. And the Native Americans, dark skin, Choctaw, Blackfoot, Cherokee. The list goes on of these Indians that were forced on the Trail of Tears and dispersed throughout the Americas and murdered. Dark skin. So don't let the origins of these different countries, or where they're located, fool you, because and think into thinking that, oh, we talking about these fair-skinned people who they call Puerto Ricans or Mexicans or Native Americans, that you see that the public, that the powers that be put in your face and saying that's these nations of people. We are there. We're scattered through the four corners of the earth. That's our people who they're referring to for all equality. So, with that being said, they have a donate tab as well. You can read about their story here. A new African nation exists in the United States. It began forming during the colonial days after 1660, when the Black Codes were instituted. It was fully evolved by the time of the Civil War in 1861, 200 years later. We have common culture, common perspective and values, and group identity, and common gene pool derived from our distinct group history. We are new Africans because we, in African people, evolve from not one but several African nations, and have some Indian, Native, Indigenous, and European genes melded during the course of 200 years between 1660 and 1861. Did y'all know that there were Black Frenchmen that came over here during the colonial times, and they actually owned slaves themselves? Did y'all know that there were Black Greeks? Did y'all know that the original pirates were Black? And when I say Black, I mean melanated. That's what I'm talking about. Those seeking independent statehood began once more in 1968, 3 years after the assassination of Brother Omali and Malcolm X. Omowale, Malcolm X, led by Reparations and teachings. His followers in the Malcolm X Society led over 500 new African Black activists at a national convention for our people. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know Malcolm X was a part of this Republic of New Africa? Because we all like to quote him and we all hold him in high reverence. Did y'all know that he was already a member of the Republic of of New Africa? So why aren't we members of the Republic of New Africa? Why have they been shadow banned? Talking about shadow banned. Like, they kept this information well hid. That there's a functioning operational nation in this nation, and we don't belong to it because we're chasing after the so-called American dream. Miss me, people. I'm so far removed. They issued a Declaration of Independence of the new African Black nation, named it RNA, formed a provisional government. Provisional means temporary, or in this case, pre-independence, with officials elected in convention, created basic law, and adopted a constitution, Code of Umuja, identified and designated the 5 states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina as the new African nation's national territory, subject to agreement with the indigenous people. Do you understand what that means? That they're saying, yes, we understand that there are indigenous people to this land that look just like them. We were taken from Africa, so we're going to do this thing together. That's what I'm talking about, foundational Black Americans. But it's under the government of the Republic of New Africa. Regardless to if you believe your ancestors came from Africa or not, get under the government with your people. For the numbers' sake. Under a mandate that the PGRNA set as its main purpose and goals to free the oppressed new African Black nation in North America, making it even more independent than Canada. For those of us who want this, to win reparations from the United States, PGRNA cadre's aim is to educate people about our existence as an oppressed, colonized nation and our right to self-determination, our right to free the land, our battle cry, and to create an independence plebiscite, a vote of the people, an independent new African Black nation state to be held first in the countries of Western Mississippi, in the parishes of Eastern Louisiana, the Kush District, in accordance with the UN General Assembly resolution. Well, hello, there's a UN General Resolution already that says that, hey, get the people to vote. And they're already calling the countries of Western Mississippi. What? In the parishes of Eastern Louisiana, the Kush District. What? Do you see why it's imperative to hook up the Republic of New Africa with the Afro-Descendant nation? The Afro-Descendant nation has a government, but they don't have no land identified as to what they want to take over and control. Well, the Republic of New Africa does, and they got a plan. Right? I can't make this up. Let's check out the video here so I can stop talking. Give my voice a rest. Because I can't make... Oh! It's not available anymore. But God, dog, I apologize, my friends. That's unfortunate. And let's go back. But here's some resources. Okay? You can download these files, right? You can download files. The study of the provisional government of the Republic of Africa. Political science. Declaration of Independence. Aims of the Revolution. New African Creed. New African Oath, as well as learn our rich story, policies, and laws. They already have their own laws. We don't have to be subjected to these laws anymore once we remove consent and declare that we are part of this nation. A nation within a nation. I was not trying to do clickbait with the title. It's a real thing. New African political prisoners. We are prisoners of war. I've already explained that to you how. That you are, you got to just give them your email address, create a password, create an account, and you can download all of the resources. Contact us. How do you get in touch? Contact us via email here. You can contact the Minister of Information, Minister Bomani Uhuru, Said Shakur, Deputy Minister Millie Queen, Deputy Minister Kumasi Amin, Deputy Minister Zumba New Afrik, Deputy Minister Masi Ehosi, Deputy Minister District Representative Akin Bickley. These are the people that you want to address. Find out more information. Do your research, but just know he just wanted you to know that it exists. That's it. That they're out there. That they're out there. Unite with your people here, and then we can spread abroad. Unite with your people here. Stop the infighting. Stop wanting to say who's right, who's wrong, and get on the we train. I don't care anything about your feelings, about your opinions. All I want to know is the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. The facts. That's it. That's all we need to operate on. Because I'm telling you guys, 2024 is going to be a whole lot different. You know, it's their election year. Now, if you want to participate in the election, I don't do the worst, better of the thing. Like shit, I don't rock with evil, period. So I participate. But that's me. Not telling you what to do. But I would not spend my time on it. I would rather give my time to researching these two organizations that I just pointed out and seeing how you could fit in, because these people are doing something right now. These people are saying we want you to be a part of it. These people are not saying that, oh, well, since you haven't been rocking with us for the last 2 years, since 2020, we don't want you here. They're not saying that. They want you. Pick one. Because you're going to find that you're going to need that support in the upcoming months and years. The dollar's finna do a horrible thing. The housing industry about to be turned upside down. It doesn't get better. Before we can do better, it got to get worse. But I just want to make sure that we're covered in a united front where we can reach out and help each other. A working database of all those who are in the nation. Just like the federal government has your social security number, your people need to know who you are and where you are in case you're in need of help. For us, by us. We don't have to go to no UN to decide whether or not we want reparations. The UN is saying the ball is in your court. Where is the people? That's what they're saying. Where is the people? No, we want to fight about frivolous, nonsensical opinions. Give me the facts on how to change my life. I don't even have children, but I do have nieces and nephews. Right? I do have a mother that's still alive that would love to see her people free from the oppression and not have to worry about traveling all the way to Africa to make that freedom be a reality. When we, as a young generation, the millennials, Generation X, Y, Z, whatever they want to call us, we the ones to effectuate change. These elders in these organizations have already set the framework, right? If you are privy to some money, you can become a sponsor. Support the African newsletter and radio show of the PGRNA, Republic of New Africa. Look them up on Instagram, PG_Republic of New Africa. On Facebook, PG.Republic of New Africa. They have 6 months and 12 months plan for you to sponsor their efforts to spread the word, take over Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. How about that? Can we have that? Can we get that? Can we ball that up and throw it here? RGB, red, green, and black. Can we do it? New African census for all conscious new African citizens be counted, begin to work a nation of building a nation, right? Now, I'm not quite sure if this time has passed on this deadline. I'm not quite sure if this is June 30th of 2024 or June 30th of 2023, because I'm not that familiar with these years of the current century when they do it like that. I'm not that good. I need to study some more. So with that being said, let me go back to the chat, see what y'all saying. Who we got? Okay, we still have our brother Nathaniel Panther still walking with us. Welcome, Braves Club. Braves Club, salute my brother. Let's go back up and see if I can see some of the comments. Roz in the house. Nice job for trying to bring unity awareness to our people. Salute my brother. I'll live and die doing this. It don't cost me nothing to do this, for some time, but shit, my time is afforded by the Most High. Shoot, so hey, I give my time to my people. Don't cost me nothing. Kim Yakuza, don't forget the New York Recon. I'm not familiar with that. The New York Recon. Is that the Puerto Ricans that's black? Is that what you're saying? I know that they're black Puerto Ricans for sure. Nathaniel Panther said, I have no problem with my faith. I know we're going to liberate ourselves, but you don't sometimes have to war to win. But I understand sometimes there is no choice. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, to be protected everywhere. Yeah, I do believe, and that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Nathaniel. I do believe that is why it's important for us to support let's see here. Where did I put it? I think it was on Instagram. Let's see. Yeah. That is why it is important to support a group like INFACT. Why? Because they are already agreed to be the militia for the Black nation. Could they very well be the militia force for the African descendant nation? Could they very well be the militia force for the Republic of New Africa? Now, I understand, like you guys seen in the thumbnail, I understand that in fact is considered themselves United Black Kemetic Nation. So could that be our armed forces? The United Black Kemetic Nation, in fact, is the military armed force to protect the Afro-Descendant nation and or the Republic of New Africa. Y'all follow what I'm saying? There's a place for all of these organizations. The Republic of New Africa has outlined the land that we should take up. The Afro-Descendant nation, they have a government, a constitution, and so does the Republic of New Africa. They have a constitution as well. So can we combine those documents, work out all the fine details, come up with one document, and then have a militia, and we'll all agree that United Black Kemetic Nation is our militia? That's possible. We could do all things if we come together in unity. Right, Nathaniel? There is power in numbers and power in unity. Kim Yakuza, America ain't letting me flex like this, so I had to hit up Foreign Turk. Soon I'm going to have a piece of the U.S. and UN protection on top of it. I salute you, Kim. Do your thing. Many blessings to you. You know, may the Most High continue to bless you and protect you. And in your quest, you say, I copped some land in Brazil through my application, got this meeting with the UN, lined up to secure that bag and snag some free property. Whoa, whoa, Kim Yakuza. Hey, shouts out to you. You must figure out a way to share how you did that with your people so everybody else can, if they have the means to invest in some land, to do so. Right? I know that there's a lot of people. I'm going to do a show here probably next Sunday on all of these different organizations again, that are soliciting people in the diaspora to move to places like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, South America, Johannesburg, right? All of these individuals who are Americans have now moved to the African continent in all of these different countries and have set up different tours in real estate land acquisition organizations, helping people in the diaspora acquire land in the continent of Africa. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's my next special broadcast, is featuring those different countries. I mean, those different organizations. If you're looking to move to Africa, I'm going to bring that to you. And then I'm going to present the information to you. And you decide if that's what you want to do and who you want to do it with. I'm just going to present the information. But thank you, Kim, for letting us know about your achievement in obtaining land in Brazil. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. K Money, spoken word. Salute, brother Nathaniel Panther. Salute to you, K Money. I didn't see you, my sister. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Salute. So, like I said before, UBKN was an organization that I wanted to share with you all information on them, but because of the sensitivity of the state of INFAC right now, I can understand why that information is not readily available. However, hopefully I can get in touch with the brothers who are representing, who have been put in charge by Grandmaster Jay to speak out on behalf of INFAC and on behalf of the United Black Kinetic Nation. I will work diligently to set up a meeting or a conversation with them so that they can present to you what they have as a United Black Kinetic Nation and what that looks like. We visited Afro-Descendant Nation. We visited the Republic of New Africa, and we see what they have to offer. We would like to know what the United Black Kinetic Nation have to offer. We know that they're offering a security force in the form of a militia. We know that, but we would definitely like to know what else that they're offering. Is there a constitution? Is there a provisional government already in place? Things of that nature, such as Afro-Descendant Nation in the Republic of New Africa. So look forward to me having that conversation with I believe Corporal Kickass and the Bishop of NFAC, right? So last but not least is the Republic of Detroit. And a lot of you know our brother, Mr. Ramzu Yunus, where he is considered a human rights officer. And he's actually training other individuals to be human rights officers. I know of a couple of people that have gone through in our human rights officers. That's their title, and that's what they do on a day-to-day basis. And they do answer the phone. And, so they have studied the international laws concerning human rights, and they are desperately trying to gather signatures, gather votes to remove consent so that you can be self-determined in this land. You don't have to move to Africa. They want to help you do it in this land. So it says here, the call to duty. This website is hosted by human rights policy officers who are living up to the responsibility to make sure human rights are enjoyed by everyone. The current priority is advocacy of the right to self-determination, protection of its assertion. Even independent nations are not enjoying the full extent of self-determination, as the economic development of most is being interfered with by entities with a global agenda that is not mutually beneficial, right? So they have the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. All peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of their right, they freely do political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. Ratified by many countries, by the United States in 1992, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights enjoys supremacy status in law, meaning that international law is supposed to supersede federal law and damn sure supersede state law. So when we declare the right of exercise or assert our right to self-determination, then the United States government can't stop you from saying, I no longer, as a nation of people, I no longer want to be governed underneath you. I no longer want to pay your taxes. As a matter of fact, we want this land, this land, this land, and this land, and we're going to govern and run that land by ourselves without federal government intervention, without state intervention. The states, like the Republic of New Africa, call them countries. So we'll govern our own self country. So a nation of people with several little countries from Louisiana to South Carolina. Let's go. Ball it up and throw it here. I'm ready. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Right and responsibility of to protect human rights. The Declaration on the right and responsibility of individual groups and organs of society to promote and protect universal recognized human rights and fundamental freedoms. Everyone has the right, individually and in association with others, to promote and strive for the protection and the realization of human rights and fundamental freedoms at the national and international levels. Human rights policy officer called to duty. Most people do not know what rights they have and what may be being violated. Human rights policy officers exist not only to teach human rights, but to help people assert their rights and protect against any violation. We are the people's police force. Okay, now we got militia, UBKN, in fact. Now we got human rights officers saying that we are the people's police force. If the current police force is engaged in human rights violations, then we have the right and responsibility to disband and replace them. Brutality, arbitrary arrests, and many actions, current police violations. Oh, so we know we witnessed that with our dear brother Arthur Wallace, and we know that we witnessed that with our dear brother Grandmaster Jay with the bogus charges. You can't even do a defense of self-defense is not even afforded to you. You're not arrested at the time when at the time of such infraction occurred. They can wait 2 months later and come and snatch you up out your bed and tell you we're pressing charges for wanton endangerment. And I'm like, of who? Really? Your life was in danger 2 months later? You got to be kidding me. So we must stand up, join together, assert our right of self-determination, and stand up against this tyranny that's happening. That is what's stated in the United States Constitution. That's why a militia can exist, to avoid tyranny from your government. Don't be scared to lose something. Lose something to gain more. Separate yourselves. Scripture say, come out of her, my people. Scripture say, gather yourselves together. Oh yeah, gather yourselves together. Old nation not desired. Where can we go as so-called Black, so-called African Americans and be well received? I'll wait. Old nation not desired. You're a special group of people, my friends. And that's why they hate you. They hate you because they ain't you. They wish they could be like you. So they fill our heads with propaganda. They keep us fighting against each other. And then we fall for their shitty trap every single time. They love seeing us fight one another over petty differences that's not going to move the needle one way or the other, because we all need each other. I just showed you why one group need the other group. 4 different organizations. We have choices. Pick one. A lot of people say, what are you doing? Join an organization, and I guarantee you'll figure out what you're supposed to be doing in this hour. Join an organization, and you'll be figuring out what you can do in this hour. And for those of you who've already joined one of these organizations, I say to you, cut your other brothers and sisters some slack while they figure it out. Work on strengthening the organization that you have identified with. Encourage others to join that. And don't give anyone a reason not to like that organization because of the negativity that comes from your mouth if other people are not a part of that organization. That's called division, and that must stop. I learned a long time ago, and my mom used to say, and I think it may be in scripture, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing. A lot of times I see and I hear a lot of things, but a culture is about the facts. I say again, I care very little about your feelings, except that I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not going to go out purposely to hurt your feelings. But I do not take your feelings into consideration when I'm making decisions that's for the greater good. I get accused all the time of not even taking care of myself because I'm out here taking care of others. Well, I figure like this. In the end, I'm going to win. My good will be counted as long as my people good. So what I'm telling you is, again, you have this, and we got decisions to make. Don't let fear of being different from the status quo stop you from aligning yourself with your people. The key takeaway from all of this is we need to have a nation within a nation in order to be fully liberated and receive reparations. That's the bottom line. We need the numbers. In fact, need the numbers. Republic of New Detroit need the numbers. Provisional Government of Republic of New Africa need the numbers. Join one, join them all. I don't give a damn. Just join one. After you do your research, figure out which one resonate with your spirit. Figure out which one is going to respond to you in time so that you can make a decision. Look through these things. Look for these things. Make it a gift to yourself. If you celebrate the holidays, God bless you. God bless you. But do your research. Do it a gift for yourself. Make it a New Year's resolution to get involved to help all of us receive reparations so that we can exercise our right to self-determination, by taking over some land, establishing some businesses, establishing an educational system, establishing a medical system where we are not shunned because we want to do herbal remedies or organic healing. We're free to practice our faith. We're not having to be tied or shunned by some man-made religion. Think about that, my friends. Think about that. You have a choice. And it's not Republican and it's not Democratic. It's not the Independent or the Green Party. It's Afro-Descendant Nation or Republic of Detroit or Republic of Jackson or Republic of New Africa. You got choices and it's all for us, by us. I pray that somebody out there heard me and understand where I'm coming from. I just found it fascinating that I'm just now learning about these things. And I'm an old school teacher. I used to teach school, right? So I used to tell my students all the time, no question is a dumb question, because if you ask the question, chances are 5 or 10 more people have that same question. And that's why you guys see me on the podcast asking questions, because I really want to know. Therein you gain knowledge. Don't assume anything, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Get the facts. And then you can formulate your opinion. And your opinion is backed by facts. That's how they go. So, I am doing a very important live broadcast on tomorrow night, only being aired on News, Facts, and Comments regarding the Palestinian conflict. I'm going to show why it matters to everybody that's in this chat, everybody who would listen to this video later, right? Y'all bless you for being here this long. But you need to tune in on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. because the information is heavy. And it's going to open up your eyes and it's going to make you think about why you should pay attention to what's going on in Palestine. Again, that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. News, Facts, and Comments. I'm going to thoroughly go through that debacle of what they're calling a conflict. When I just look at this guy's face, he just looks like a freaking demon, right? And he is doing some very demonic things, which I do not agree with. I mean, I just say that it is totally inhumane what their agenda is. So join me on Monday night, News, Facts, and Comments, why the conflict / war in Palestine matters. And I thank you all once again for being with me. And of course, you know, I love you all with the love of Yahuwah. Take care of yourself and each other. Shalom.
One for the money, you know what it is. 2 for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3 just to make sure you ready. 4, let them know that we run this town. 1 for the money, you know what it is. 2 for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3 just to make sure you ready. 4, let them know that we run. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You are now tuned in to the greatest. The greatest of all time. The greatest of all time.
I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be
for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3, just to make sure you ready. 4, let them know that we run this town. 1 for the money, you know what it is. 2 for the show, yeah, we shut it down. 3, just to make sure you ready.